Howdy everyone. I'm going to do question 3 here. It's really, at its core, it's about unit conversions. It's really important to remember that when you are converting areas or volumes, these conversion factors are different, right? There is actually 1 million cubic centimeters in 1 cubic meter, right? So whereas, right, the question I'm going to do goes from centimeters cubed to meters cubed, right? Imagine I had a meter just in one dimension, so I was looking at a length, right? And there would be 100 centimeters along that length, right? But I mean, you could imagine this is not the best diagram. There'd be, it's not oh yeah, it's like millimeters. So there'd be 10 times 10 times 10 cubic millimeters inside 1 cubic centimeter. Imagine I had a cube that was actually 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, right? So every length was 1 meter, right? So along there I could fit 100 centimeters, but then also along here, 100 centimeters, and then also across the front of this cube, and you'd end up with 100 times 100 times 100, which actually equals 1,000,000. And if you stop and think about this, it seems like that's a lot of cubic centimeters, but a cubic centimeter is pretty small, right? 1 centimeter, it's not very long. By the way, 1 cubic centimeter is equivalent to 1 milliliter, right, as a volume. Whereas 1 cubic meter is pretty big. Maybe a table is close to 1 meter long or wide. You can picture in your head a cube that's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, and it's pretty big, and it would fit a lot of milliliters or a lot of cubic centimeters in. In fact, it can fit 1,000,000 of them in. Okay, so back to the question number 3. There is 5.5 cubic centimeters of aluminium in a can, but we have 46,291 cans. Right. Okay. I'm just going to write this out. This is 7E, part 1. It's question 3. We've got cans of aluminium. There's a little can. And each can has 5.5 cubic centimeters of aluminium, Al for aluminium, all right? But we had 46,291 cans. So how much aluminium would that give you? Right? If 1 can had 5.5, how much is there in 46,291 cans? You'd have to multiply, right? So the amount of the volume of aluminium is 46,291 cans times 5.5, and we'll get an answer, and the answer will be in cubic centimeters because that's the unit we started with. So what you'll need to do is go to a calculator, unless you're really quick at maths. So we had 46,291 times 5.5, and what number do we get? 254,600.5. 254,600.5. Try and remember that. 254,600 and a half cubic centimeters. All right. Now at this point, the question throws you a little curveball. Let me show you what I mean. they say, during this process where they melt all the cans together and combine them into this block of aluminium, they lose 15% of the metal. All right? So let's deal with this. They lose 15%. Right? Lose 15%. Right? So we have to think about, well, that's our volume, but we've lost 15%. And I could really go in two directions from here. Right? I could work out what's 15% of the volume and then subtract that away because we've got a loss. So what is 15%? Or to just, maybe this is a bit of a shortcut for you, you could consider if I lost 15% from 100%, that's 100%, I'd be left with 85%. So I could say, well, what's 85%? Because that's already got the loss of 15% in it. 254, 600.5. Okay, so let's have a look at that on the calculator. All right, and I'll just hide all the writing I've been doing. So if I take this number, multiply it by 15%, okay, 38,190.075 cubic centimetres of aluminium. We would have to lose that. We have to subtract it away. So we started with this amount, and we subtract away the 15% that I've just lost, and we're left with 216,410.425. All right. How good's my memory? It's not that good. 216,410. 216,410. Where am I going here? 216,410. All right. So the volume of aluminium that we have left equals 216,410, and there were some decimals. I think it was 0.425 cubic centimeters. I'm just going to go back and double check that number's right. 216,410.425. Good. All right. Okay, hopefully that was pretty clear. If I'd done 85%, I would have got to this number straight away, and I wouldn't have had to subtract away the 15% from the original amount. Now, they want this number represented not in centimetres cubed, but in metres cubed. So this is the conversion part, right? Let's go up here. We want to do a conversion to metres cubed, right? So like I was saying before, if we're going from centimetres to metres and they're just lengths, we would divide by 100. Take the centimetre amount, divide it by 100, right? But we don't have centimetres and metres. We've got cubic centimetres and cubic metres, so we have to divide by 100 cubed, right? So I would have to take this number, all right? So the volume of aluminium in cubic meters would be this amount here divided by 100 cubed, which is actually 1 million, right? So it would be 0.216. Now that's going to be enough decimals, surely. I've written this to 3 decimal places here. This is also 3 significant figures in this case. And I didn't need to round up my 6 because the number after a 6 was 4. If that number there was 5 or greater, I would have had to round up that 6. Okay, so what I've done, you might choose to do this on a calculator. I've taken the answer and I've divided it by 1 million. So 6 zeros in 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Or you could have taken the answer and divided it by 100 cubed. Right? Because we're in 3 dimensions, cubic. And this is our final answer here. 0.216 cubic meters. Okay, thanks.